I remember in the early days of the IPL, going for some event there in Chennai and seeing the size of the poster of Dhoni, and not in the full body. It was just the head with the long hair and the Chennai Super Kings cap. I was like, is this Mahabalipuram or is this like a poster? Because it was so large. Really, honestly. But you got to hand it to the Tamil culture when it comes to, they lionize you. I mean, you're lionized. How can you go back feeling normal?
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
Start believing your own myth.
No, I saw it with Ajit, right? We did one of the random why not moments of my life. I did a film with him.
Oh right, you did a movie.
Veeram. Yeah. So we both love riding. So we rode down.
What does that mean?
We both love riding bikes. 2 wheels with great machinery on it. Okay. Thank you very much, Cyrus. So we did these long rides from like Chennai to Kotagiri and different parts of the country, whatever. And we had guys chasing him in cars just to touch him. Yeah. And if they couldn't touch him, they would touch me and say, "I've now touched you and you've touched him." And I'm not even joking.
Okay, Cyrus says, sorry, we already started talking before the show rolled. Sadly, Suhail and me are on time as usual. Not to waste time talking about how nobody else is. It's a huge issue. But you're from Chennai. I must say the end of the day.
We're on time.
One wonderful thing about the culture is that they're on time, begin and end at the right time. There's nothing, work is done efficiently and then you move on in life.
I'm not sure about the rest, but efficiency is one thing we can
I remember
take
when I shot an ad film for the first time with Rajiv Menon and gang there. Of course, he's Malayali, but let's consider him Tamilian.
When you're in anywhere outside the north, it's South India, so we'll club it for today. I know you won't, but I'll club it for now.
I want my South Indian brethren to stay with me. I've already alienated a lot of states.
Good, I'm glad.
Let me keep the 4-5 that are left. But no, for me, the best part is the 7 o'clock call time was 7 o'clock. Also, they said 6 p.m. Is end of the shoot. At 6 p.m. they pull out the plugs. There's no shoot at 6:01, which I respected a lot. Although we had a 2-day shoot on that particular thing, 6 o'clock was 6 o'clock.
Now you know why the Tasmac is the leading business in South India.
Fair enough.
Everyone knows where to head after.
It's the Switzerland. Switzerland of India. And that's where lots of black money is buried, including the Chandhok families.
I'm not saying Here we go. 1 minute in and we're gone.
No. Listen, let's talk about your family a little bit because I didn't know Karun is your brother, who's quite the name in racing. But it goes back to your dad. Your dad
goes back to my granddad and grandmom, by the way.
What are you saying?
So
racing?
My granddad actually was one of the founding...
Basically.
So my granddad basically was one of the founding members of motorsport, I would say, in the country. Started the federation and all of that.
Oh,
Madras Motorsport Club. My grandmom used to actually rally at the time as well. So, like,
can I say she was fast? Sorry.
I didn't say it.
Sorry.
God bless you.
Ranveer is loyal.
They had a great sense of humor, thankfully. So they're up there laughing. But I mean, unreal. And again, I'm the black sheep. I'm the cheap son, as I like to say. My entire cricket career was the cost of my brother's front left tire or something in Formula 1. So I'm the cheap son that didn't put him out of business.
You can't be a poor guy and get into Formula 1.
If I was also in motorsport, my dad will be living on the streets. And that's the end of that. So, I said, you know what? I'll take one for the team. I'll be the sacrificial lamb, and here I am today.
So let's go back a bit for a second. So basically, you didn't get into motorsports.
No,
grandmom, grandpa, dad, big brother.
I did because I think it was in the genes, and therefore when I got into a cart or on a bike, I was quick. So I did it for pocket money. You at that point.
Did you compete and all?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I was very quick at that time.
This is before cricket and football and all these things.
Along the same time. So I loved sport, man. I played tennis, football, badminton, table tennis, cricket, of course, all the rest at the same time.
God, you don't sound Indian.
No. Can you imagine?
और अपना गरीब देश में ऐसे व्यक्ति
cricket ही खेलो
जिनके पास rackets है, balls है, bats है.
So basically, there was luckily in Madras, as you know, huge sporting culture.
Formerly Madras.
Sorry, Chennai.
Chennai.
Huge sporting. Madras is an emotion. Chennai is still a city.
But MCC keeps MCC, Madras Cricket Club.
Correct.
Madras High Court is Madras High Court.
Exactly. So I captain MCC, so I can still say Madras Cricket.
Is it IIT Madras or Chennai now?
It's actually still IIT Madras. See, there you go.
Mumbai is the same thing. Bombay High Court.
Correct.
Bombay High
Court. Bombay
International School. Bombay Scottish School.
Exactly. See, not that I would ever see the inside of IIT Madras except to play cricket at IIT Madras, but it's IIT Madras, that's all. But I mean, I think for me, I grew up and thankfully being from a sporting family, there was always this allowance to go. It wasn't, if you do this, you can't study. If you study, you can't play sport. It was like, you know what? You manage your time. You still need
Actually,
to
that's
get
a
through
big
life.
advantage for an urban Indian. The fact that your entire family, the genesis is
Exactly,
sports.
exactly.
So your whole upbringing is very different from most middle class, upper
South
middle
Indian,
class,
yeah.
South Indian, where
Yeah.
academics would be first,
Correct.
or play the sitar or
Correct.
Carnatic vocals or something like that.
Yeah.
Can
None
you
of
do any of that?
No, thankfully.
So you're not quite a
you
TamBrahm.
don't want to see me
You're not
attempting a
there.
sitar, no. So that's not going on well.
Yeah.
But basically it was because of that, right? I think therefore, and there was always a respect for, you know what? If you don't get the marks and you don't do, you figure it out. We're not here to mollycoddle you. And I think that was also a really nice part of growing up in Chennai. No one was mollycoddled. You figure it out. We're here to give you a push in the right direction. But when you need to, you tell us, look, I've lost my way, or you figure it out yourself. And I think, we come from a similar generation where that was kind of the norm also,
He's
right?
16 years younger than me. How sweet.
I'm
Sweet
I mean, I'm
thing.
supposed to be
Sweet-
kind, right?
sweet
After
thing
you've
to say.
thrown me under the bus the first minute of the show.
I was hoping some pair touching and all that will happen because of the seniority. Yeah.
Not going that far yet.
No,
but,
you do it with your leg.
Yeah,
You-
maybe
you
a
little too
tap,
westernized.
little
Hey,
tap
bro,
somewhere,
lot of respect.
Little tap. So, but yeah, I think so. Therefore, growing up, I think playing every sport, it kind of just allowed me to kind of find my own way in terms of which sport to dive into as well. And I think that's when cricket evolved later. But
So cricket is where you actually made a mark for yourself.
Yeah.
So let's just trace that journey quickly. I want to talk sports with you.
Yeah.
We have to have some time for that. But you actually will go towards RCB because you went there, I think, under
2009,
Kumble.
2010.
2010. But so let's start at the beginning where you, obviously school and places like
school,
that.
I mean, school was a disaster because in some sense, I came from a school which is all about academics.
Oh, boy.
I came from the cathedral type
Oh,
of
my
school
God,
of Bombay
horrible.
over there. Yeah,
Oh.
so academics. So I would find 10 others. Like make them skip school on the same day because I would enter tournaments on my own for the school, go out, play, we'd do well, come back. But then they kind of found a pattern with the same 11 guys were bunking school on the same day. So I think they figured it out pretty quickly. But school and then actually more when I started captaining the late V.B. Chandrasekhar, his academy.
VV Chandrasekhar, the opening batsman,
the opening
unfortunately,
batter,
is sad end. But
Yeah,
I've seen him bat.
Unbelievable.
Everyone talks about Shrikant, and Shrikant is
this
huge,
guy
no
was-
doubt.
yeah.
No, but I thought VB was actually a faster bat for a little while. Right?
Unbelievable.
And they played together also.
Yeah. And you would love him because the sense of humor he had was dry. No one really got it. I led his team for a long time. We got on really well. I saw him as a big mentor of mine. So I think that sort of flipped it when I
Did you
started.
bat like him?
I wish I could, but no, I was left-handed.
As in aggressive? No, I saw.
I was left-handed batter, more
yeah.
timing rather than
So
smacking
not
the ball.
Not a power hitter.
No, but more time, a lot of sixes, but more out of timing than just the way he had panache and the.
But do you think the two big guns, okay, Raman as well, who wasn't quite the same in terms of temperament, but Shrikant, huge effect on anybody from Tamil Nadu, and also for us.
His twitching all the time is just
I love
absolute
Shrikant.
twitching.
I think Shrikant should get a lot more respect because he changed the game actually.
Yeah, he
Nobody
did.
knows
He
that.
did. Yeah.
You know, hitting Hadley over extra cover and
Unreal.
all that. Nobody did that before.
And his son actually,
Sunny Gavaskar was like, what?
what is going on?
What the hell's going on?
I then remember him actually going on to captain India, and I wondered how. Imagine playing under Chris Shrikant. It
In
would have been
Pakistan, against a very
unbelievable.
powerful Pakistan team, which had Sachin debuting as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying this, you have Shrikant, you have VB, who are both probably the fastest batsmen in the country on the domestic circuit at that point. And so you're coming from that background. So I'm thinking a lot of you guys growing up would like to bat like them.
And we kind of did, right? I think finding sort of fast runs is always in our nature. I was always a very busy batter. Wanted to contribute on the field, wanted to find gaps all the time. You know, if you've got 3 dot balls, your fingers start to twitch and you're wondering what's going on. So very similar feel. But I think growing up around him, he would also push you, right? He was not someone who was scared to throw something at you.
Did you open?
I know, I batted top order, so it was either
3-4.
3-4-5 there and then bowled a lot. But actually fielding was one of my
Bowl
favorites.
is also left arm? Orthodox?
No, bowled right arm leggies till I broke my finger, then started bowling right arm
Bat
offies.
left, bowl right.
Yeah.
How do you wash your bottom? You don't remember?
With a spray.
Now he's very well off. Somebody does it for him.
Sure. Actually, we went to margins where we had to use leaves when we were in the deep dark depths of Tamil Nadu. So not quite
Names, I want names.
Not quite spray and toilet paper.
No,
boss.
I want names. What's the name of the guy who put his hand up and said, Chandhok ji,
I
मैं
will-
करता हूँ.
मैं आऊँगा. No, actually now आ रहे हैं. Forget the मैं आऊँगा in Tamil there. Excuse
I
me.
don't know. I get scared we are going to get into as much trouble as India's got later.
I was worried about that when I stepped into this room, saying, you know
And
what?
ours
for
is
the
not a
last-
roast show.
Yeah, for the last 12 years, I've had no black spots in my career.
Yeah.
This could be the last day. So, who
But he
knows?
seemed to have so much fun. Again, I'm going to cut to his career now as a leading sportscaster. I watch you in tennis, and I really like that setup.
Thanks.
The 3-4 of you. I think Sanya's
Sanya,
there.
Som, Purav,
They were one.
and Purav, yeah.
And Purav.
Yeah.
So but it's a nice, because I think the chemistry is good amongst all of
It's kind
you.
of, where I give a lot of credit to the producers there at Sony also, because they came in when I met them for the first time, and I'm so glad I took that step to freelance a few years ago. And they said, you know what, Suhail, have fun with this. You know these guys really well. And I think you're right. It's a relationship. I know these guys really well. I'm not scared to have a dig at Sanya, for instance, where most broadcasters will sit back and be really nice to her. She's someone who enjoys that.
What happens in cricket commentary, especially in Asia, for some reason, sometimes you feel people behave like me. They just want to hear their own voice. They just go and scout. That doesn't seem to happen.
No.
If there's leg pulling, it seems to be very organic and
Very
real.
organic, yeah.
And nobody seems to be taking umbrage or getting upset or whatever.
Because it's actually a reflection of what we're doing before we start rolling, which we just carry. I mean, we're having the same chat about a doping scandal or something else that's going on, which we're saying, you know what, we have the leeway to carry it onto the show. And that's...
As a viewer, what I get is 4 or 5, actual sports lovers. Forget that Sanya, is a legend, and
she loves the sport,
won whatever he's won. Yeah. No doubt about that. But I'm saying, forget that, put that away, because you need to see 5 people having a good time, where the intensity and love for the game is there, and then they're normal human beings and banters.
Absolutely. No, I'm glad it comes through, because that's kind of the intent.
I think that should be the way. That should be like the
all
blueprint.
broadcasting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I completely agree, and I think that's how actually. Cricket broadcasts also should be done. We've attempted it at different phases. I think there's a lot more rules and sort of limitations within the cricket ecosystem.
I think became very competitive with the T20 culture setup, and I think Sidhu changed the game a little bit.
Yeah.
And while it works for Sidhu, I think everyone can't scream and shout and
Correct. I can't come up with a Sidhu Shairi like that. Yeah.
But if you could, as long as it's your real personality, I have no problem.
It has to be organic.
People are doing these avatars, they get into it now. I don't want to quote India's Got Latent, our greatest show, but there was this gentleman who was on it who's not naturally a mean-spirited,
You're really
naughty,
going to get me kicked
cheeky
out of all
man.
jobs
And
that I
then
have.
you put him in an avatar which he's not comfortable, then all this happened.
I agree.
I feel a little sad about that.
I actually do, because I think also after a point now, there's a lot of other people that are saying a lot of really, really demeaning stuff.
Pontificating.
Shocking stuff, and they're still living their lives, right? And they're going about their lives the way they are.
Liberal community has let him down also. Because, you don't have to jump
but
up.
But also the thing is, we know what it's like, right? In society, once one guy's down, everyone is very happy to jump on top of the guy, rather than...
if I can be honest, Suhail asked me the same question that caused the controversy just now as he entered off camera. And I told him, I remember I said, give me 5 minutes because I'm not prepared.
Sorry, guys, I don't know why I signed up to this.
Ronesh Kuwala is his father-in-law, right? You don't worry. He owns half the country. It's all done. Don't worry.
Yeah, but the dowry system has ended.
It's ended?
Yeah, it's ended long back.
Look at our luck. Look at
that.
Look at the timing. The wedding before yours is the last one.
The last one.
It's just like motor racing, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting here, still working hard like a dog on 3 different jobs.
True.
So yeah.
Okay, again, as usual, this happens with me all the time because I'm distracted. We'll come to the sportscasting. Going back in time, so you played VB Chandrasekhar, big name.
Then went to Australia. I think that kind of was my, that was my kind of
won something there.
Yeah, I was in Adelaide, played 5 years of really good cricket there. Learned what it's like
to
be
on
on
wickets in Adelaide? Because generally batting wicket, but bouncy.
A little bit, but when you first get there and you're facing guys like Shaun Tait and Jason Gillespie, the wicket doesn't matter.
Shaun Tait.
Yeah, the wicket doesn't matter because you're first coming to grips
bowling at 160.
Yeah, so you're first coming to grips with the ball being as quick as it is. But the funny thing, actually, the game, the couple of games I played against him, my captain at the time, a guy called Nathan Adcock, was the captain of South Australia.
Yeah.
So he faces Tait in the nets every day, right?
Right.
So I faced 3 balls off him the first over. The first one hit the keeper's gloves before I heard it.
This is the fastest you've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Next one I've missed completely. Third one I've run down to third man and walked slowly so I can sit at non-striker's end. And then I'm just watching this guy pull him, hook him and smash him. I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? And clearly, it's also, once you start to play the same bowlers over and over again, you start to find that belief, right? And I think for the first 3-4 months, I was like, what am I doing here? Because the guys are like, firstly 6'4", I'm all of 5'8", and you're like already the run to the litter. There's a lot of lip, which is great. I actually think, the Aussies get a bad rap. It's not racist. I think it's just any sport, as you know, it's supposed to be mental and.
Why are we so fragile? A little racism is not going to hurt anyone.
Yeah, it's okay, man. As long as
we are not, huh? Come to India,
just
brother.
Gonna say.
My God, what a country.
We're sitting there anyway, even in a country like Australia. We're talking about them in Hindi or Punjabi or whatever when a bunch of Indians are sitting there. Now, come on, man. A bunch of
and can I tell you, skin color words and all coming from in Urdu, Hindi, our vernacular languages and all.
I'm from Chennai. Don't worry. I know.
So non-stop.
Yeah.
So don't suddenly become holier than thou and say that the white man cannot say this.
And I think good banters is healthy, right? As long as at the end of a game, they're pushing you, they're kind of testing you, and at the end of the day, they come and have a drink with you.
I worked with Shaun Tait on ESPN also.
Good guy, great guy.
Lovely guy and dog lover. So we hit it off. Yeah,
exactly.
Superb guy.
Yeah.
Also Jason Gillespie, who's his mentor in a sense and all that. Did you ever get to, he was over, right? He wouldn't be
No, so he played the last part of his career. He was there, and he was just really hard to get away. I remember we scored absolutely nothing off him for like 14 overs. You just put the ball on a damn string.
Yeah, and also gets bounced off a good
little,
length.
Yeah, and just little nippy, there, and a lot of guys like that. So
you faced the best, man, in a way.
Yeah, and I think it was a good time.
Pace bowling.
Yeah, and so it was a really good time, and I had back-to-back hundreds there in Adelaide.
Against who?
Against, at that point, Ryan Harris was one of them.
Wow. The Rhino Harris.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other guys.
Underrated bowler, fantastic for a couple of seasons then.
I actually thought he was quicker than a lot of guys.
Really?
Because he looks like he's just ambling in, and then there's a heavy shoulder.
Off the wicket.
Yeah, and just heavy shoulder comes at you. So you start to learn a lot, I think, and also just mentally, I think the approach to Australians, and I'm talking about 2008, 9, 10, the approach is very hard. The approach is, there's no mollycoddling. If you're shit at something, they'll point at you and say, this was crap, fix it. Whereas for us, we sugarcoat things a little bit.
Oh boy.
Today less so, I would say. Today we're a bit more direct, but I think that's why Greg Chappell didn't work in Indian culture back then. We like to soften the blows.
I think that's if I can just want to talk about that for a second, I feel Greg Chappell will work in the younger
today's
batches.
younger lot, correct.
The younger batches, they power to the coach, if you watch that.
Yep.
There he can be an alpha male and he'll be, the Ferguson or whatever figure that he is. But you can't do it with these big stars.
No.
How are you going to do it?
Correct, and I see that actually now when I'm running a kabaddi team, right? We've had the last 2 seasons a coach from Iran, the head coach of Iran,
right? The
only guy that's beaten India at the Asian Games, and he came down and we hired him back as
Iran
coach.
beat India.
Yeah, 2018.
Exactly. No, India. Sorry, wrong. What have I done?
This is just gonna go so badly for me. It's not funny. So we had him back. Great coach. I mean, here's a guy who backs science, backs methods, and very process driven.
They have a kabaddi culture.
Unbelievable. Because they have a wrestling culture which then converted to a kabaddi culture, right? And
it's just running and wrestling.
And unbelievable strength. I mean, these guys are like they're natural,
weightlifting, bodybuilding.
Natural force is unbelievable, right? So, but this guy would come and say, I want really tall guys, I want guys with long fingers, guys who can just come and grab.
Fair enough.
And he had a method, right? But at the same time, he's very direct. So when you've got our young players from India who, again, kabaddi culture is growing, they've still not been exposed to this sort of coaching where it's, you push. So suddenly you're telling a boy, you were crap today in front of the entire team. That guy now hates the coach. Whereas he's actually saying it to get the team better.
Very good point here. Is it right to do that, to toughen the guy up? It's like if you're in the army, you need to get tough.
Exactly.
Right. Or do you not do that because the fragility of the ego and the confidence breaks?
Precisely.
It's a tough one.
And so therefore, I had to actually tell him, look, coach, there is a cultural difference. And he's saying, but no, I want them to get better faster. And he's saying it honestly. I mean, I know the guy inside out. And we've had to, unfortunately, stop working with him for this season. We're hiring a new coach. But it was the toughest decision for me.
You left the Parsi stroke Irun guy out?
Yeah, the toughest decision, honestly, because I actually think he's
one of the... This is racism!
See, this is where I turn and I say, I'm South Indian.
Don't teach me.
I have no Parsi connection. But it's a very tough call, right? Because what's right for, I think, a young guy may not necessarily be right for the culture of a team where the sport is currently. In 5 years' time, I would love to maybe hire him back.
But again, the Greg Chappell dynamic, so you would keep him for under 13s.
That's my point. So if I run an academy today, which I want to
He would be the best guy.
I want to get him back for that.
He would be the best guy for that.
Exactly.
Because he can call a spade and he'd get the best out of whoever.
And you'll get that crop of players coming into the system.
Also, not to be cruel, but you have to remove the not so good. Because, water rises to the top or whatever. And you've got to, at some point, just clinically looking at it as a neutral. And he's a neutral in that. So was Greg.
That's the other thing, right? Because you don't have biases. You don't have now a coach who's from Tamil Nadu or Rajasthan or Haryana picking only Haryana boys or only Maharashtra boys or only... So that was my other thing. You've got no biases. You're not picking 10 guys from Iran.
That sounds terrible to say, huh? Picking only Haryana boys and this boys and that boys. I'm not comfortable with this kind of conversation, Mr. Chandhok. What's going on in India at the moment?
My contract was ready on this.
What's going on in India at the moment?
Oh my God.
I have 3 generations of lawyers, I mean, your
I
exposure to Parsis...
Indian boy who's landed up in Bombay somehow in this room.
Listen to me, your exposure to Parsis is a name like Screwwala to begin with. So
I'm getting screwed here.
Come on. Throw me a bone here, bro. Come on. What if the cultures were
what have
reversed
I
and
done?
you'd have to take her surname? I mean, there
have
are
I
cultures that do that here and there, so
Yeah.
that would have been great, right?
Sue gets screwed.
Yeah. Sue Screw.
Yeah,
I mean, for short. Yeah, that would be great.
exactly,
Insta.
yeah.
Put it on. You're done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I go viral on that only. Forget it.
So what we didn't know about him is that he played in Australia, played against some of the greats of his generation. Seriously fast bowlers. I mean, I can't think of a better pack of fast bowlers.
No, and good batters, good system. I think just the ecosystem I thought was really
Very competitive.
They push you because again, unlike here, I can speak of so Chennai. I don't know about the Bombay system, but you play one season in say Division 3
Mumbai is playing semi-final. Chennai no ko. I'm just saying.
Syed Mushtaq
Tamil
Ali
Nadu
Trophy.
did not qualify.
Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy.
Yeah,
we did better that thing. I'm just saying anyway. Good. But yeah, I think the system here is that you stay in one division for the entire year, whereas actually the system there in A grade, B grade, C grade, you have a good game in C grade, you get pushed up to
Immediately.
the instant next game, right?
And it works the other way also.
It does also.
You get dropped quickly.
You get dropped quickly, exactly, right? So I think but therefore you're always pushing, and you're always getting guys who are pushing you.
Also, they've never had this problem with stars.
Correct.
If you're Steve Waugh, tomorrow's your last
No, but
game.
think of it,
if
why-
you're Steve Smith, you're not playing T20.
Correct.
It's just, and there's no, you never hear the player side. There's no angry player.
Why would Jason Gillespie, Shaun Tait come and play club cricket? Very simple.
Yeah,
They weren't
amazing.
playing. They were playing Redbacks at the time, playing for Australia at the time.
Yeah.
But they were still coming back to play for their teams.
Correct.
They were still coming back to play for East Orange, West
Smith
Orange.
and Vaughan also do
Sturt.
that. One of the smaller suburban Sydney clubs.
Correct.
Whenever they have
I mean,
time.
Shaun Tait was playing for Sturt when I played against them, right?
Yeah.
Jason Gillespie,
But again, I'm asking. So they play at full tilt.
full tilt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only bowling that 3 overs or 4 overs.
No, but he's
And
still
he's
Shaun
ripping
Tait.
it.
You're not saying I'll
No,
just throw my arm
Because
over.
also for them, again, it comes back to the
Reputation.
pride of the club.
Yeah.
And also there, you're the big boy.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go there and you're getting hammered, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Here you are playing for Australia, getting hammered by some...
Sohail, I wish I could bowl at 160. You know, I mean,
we all
just,
do.
Honestly, I just think what a bully I'd have
Just
been.
to scare a few kids.
I
yeah.
mean, that's why I like Shoaib a lot because I just like the way he would intimidate with his body language after bowling.
Yeah.
I remember the kind of things. I don't know if you've ever watched his things with Sehwag.
Yeah,
Of course,
unbelievable.
Sehwag made triple century.
Like, he also was
Yeah.
just fearless.
Yeah.
Like, he'd sing his way to a bloody triple hundred.
No, his the hyperness of Shoaib against the lack of effort of Sehwag
Yeah.
was just superb.
Unbelievable match.
And then the guy's batting 300, but this fellow's still bowling as fast as he can, hitting him on the shoulder and all that, and saying, "Hey, Jadia, ball dekh." And he's saying, "Kahan hai?" And this kind of fucking, it's just to see these two guys at the.
It's such an exceptional contrast. Yeah.
Superb.
And then you got Lakshmipathy Balaji in the middle, just smiling his way and hitting short.
They loved him. They loved him. He became the darling of
That
Pakistan.
series was-
he could have been
was
ambassador
Bala's.
to Pakistan, dropped from the
He
cricket
actually
team,
could.
ambassador to Pakistan, India-Pakistan friends
Yeah.
again.
We're playing every year.
We're in Lahore, the Champions Trophy opening game, no problem. Yeah. But Lakshmipathy, he was the coach of Tamil Nadu, not you mentioned.
Yeah, he was also the guy who sent me for my knee surgery, thankfully. So I was playing against him when my knee got bust, and he's such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Such a sweet
Yeah.
guy.
A very decent bowler also.
Yeah, I mean, superb. And
Yeah.
he's the guy literally put me in his car, said, "Here's a surgeon's number in Commentator, go see him." And you know, it was really good guy.
So then you, how do you get into the RCB? No, you played for Tamil Nadu.
So
Where did
came
you go
back.
after that?
So
Yeah.
came back after that. Played in England a season. Ray Jennings was the coach of RCB
nice.
at the time.
Yeah.
He was scouting. At that time, there was this under 23 category of players that were good for grooming.
His son played for England.
Yes,
Although
Keaton
he's South
Jennings.
African,
Correct.
right?
Keaton.
He came here, debuted
Yeah,
here.
and good player.
Good player, but then didn't really.
Correct. He's
cut
got a
it.
test 100, all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Ray Jennings, I think, fabulous coach. Again, hard task.
So he saw you without any.
He scouted me from Australia.
Okay.
Pulled me in.
So word got out. These guys know their onions.
Because again, back-to-back hundreds. There was
Yeah.
enough talk about. There's one little Indian fellow sitting there playing cricket in some sense. So you kind of, and I had a very good season in England to follow that up. So then came into the camp.
So what did you play in England? What?
I was at Lincolnshire. So Lincolnshire.
Okay, so that's like the
minor counties essentially.
minor counties. Correct. Yeah.
So had a really big season there, a couple of double hundreds, a lot of wickets. But generally just had a really strong season coming into sort of the camp.
So
at
Ray
RCB.
Jennings has been following you. He tracks you. He watches you live.
Yeah,
He's
so
seen you.
then he's come in. He's kind of contacted me. We had a couple of chats. Pulled me and said, "Look, we've got a camp ahead of the Champions League at that time, as RCB would have it in 2009." So I joined them then, and in view of 2010, joining the side full time. Hopefully in 2010. 2009 had a good camp, really solid. I still remember, and Anil Kumble for me today is I can't believe I can say he's a friend, but such is life.
Can you call Anil and say, "Hey Anil, what's a good restaurant in Bangalore?"
I would ask him what's a good reserve to go to, which I do ask him.
Oh, he likes his
I'm still
photography,
dying to go on a nice trip with him, and we'll try and make
Interesting
it
guys,
happen.
outside the
human
game.
being.
Anil Kumble,
Amazing
and,
human being, like
Dravid for that matter. The Bangalore, I'm very fond of the
I mean,
Bangalore.
Rahul
boys.
so well, but
I wouldn't say
I don't
him
know
so well, but he's just a very nice sort of.
Same with
because they
Anil
don't
bhai,
take their
yeah.
cricket seriously once they're done with it. it, and they've got more to their life, which I wish other people would pick up.
And I think
walk around with a big head thing. I'm the greatest cricketer of my time and all.
I'm not saying much more, but I
want to
agree.
see animals in Mysore or whatever.
And he's got an unbelievable sense of humor, by the way.
Sentence.
I'm not saying. What are we doing here, man?
If you take it out of context, don't take it out of context.
He's also got an unbelievable sense of humor. Which is more and more seen now outside of the game. Really, really fun guy.
Did you bat in the nets against
So
him?
that I was just going to say,
him?
I when I was growing up and I was growing up a leggy, right? I would
lefty,
imitate Anil Kumble as a bowler growing up at home, and suddenly one of the first guys I was facing in the nets was him, and the first two balls I was just like admiring. Here comes Anil Kumble. Here's a googly. It's going to turn up. And I'm like, no, hang on. You're supposed to be scoring runs off this guy, So it was kind of a really cool
So
moment.
your action was a bit like his?
So exactly. So growing up, it was.
Did he pick it up?
No, because by then I was an offie because I broke this finger. So when I was at RCB, I was an offie and left-hand bat.
Yeah.
But growing up, he was the guy I watched, and sort of idolized as a bowler. And so you're watching this unravel at you. It was a very cool moment, very sort of goosebumpy moment at that time. But then you quickly realize, boss, you're here because you need to play. Right? You need to now make a mark.
So come on, tell me, in the nets, did you hit him or not?
I did in the end, but...
Did you clear one into the...
No, but we don't know
outside
it's in
the
nets, right?
Chinnaswamy?
No, unfortunately not. We then played practice games where I was on the same team as him.
Did one
we
lady
saw
get...
we saw the anger of Anil Kumble, the bowler, when you misfield off his bowling. Thankfully, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I won't name who it was. It was another tall Indian leg spinner. We'll leave everyone else to gather this. Test your cricket general knowledge.
Indian. Karan...
No, tall. We'll come. It'll unravel itself at some other point.
Rahul...
Done.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So, he's tallish. I can't really make her on TV.
And it was a really good vibe.
So he missed the ball, and what does he get?
He gets the Anil Kumble run.
He gets abused in 4
And
languages.
I know Anil Bhai is going to kill me for this, but which is what everyone makes fun of him for, right? Oh, Anil Bhai, we misfielded off you, we were gone.
I've seen Imran at his pomp with a bad black and white TV in India touring then 82-83. And I remember Zahir Abbas misfielding. Okay, senior cricketer, legend of the game and all that. And the MCBC that I heard as a young boy with no stump mic, because he stood there with his hands on his hips and gave, in colloquial Punjabi, gave an entire rendition of his family history and sexual politics. I was like, wow.
See,
Can you imagine Kapil and Sunny? I mean,
I've only heard these tales, and now you've told people that you're definitely 16 years older than
I'm much older than you, bro. I can't believe how the world has changed. I was so excited when we got to see that first series,
But I was saying this to someone the other day, right? Today, there's so much cricket being played that those moments, right? Those iconic moments of the 80s, 90s, I still remember every single game that I went to, watched. You remember the batters.
I think that's also to do with our age. Because when you're young, everything just stays in.
Now it's getting older.
Because my son is very good with statistics and all that, for example.
How many matches? You don't remember there's 40, there's 60,
I'm
74
still good with my
games
test cricket and test statistics, but I'm not good with T20.
Because there's too many games.
Yeah. No, but for a time in the 90s, we were doing 30 one-day games, 35 one-day games a year.
A year, but look at, that's now in 1 month we're doing that.
Yeah, I know. No, the one-day game is going to die, bro, between you and me.
I'm a fan of one-day cricket. I'm one of the very few people who'll say
now in hindsight, so am I, because T20, it's just two extremes that happen.
That's what I mean, right?
Flat wicket, you bring the thing in, a batsman with a good eye and power and a strong bat is now making 100 or 20 balls. Then he goes and travels, and then suddenly there's a night game in Adelaide with a red ball, and you're saying, who is this guy? He has no idea. No idea. So, and this is all batsmen of the world, right? Getting exposed.
No, and you think about it, I was looking at a really cool set of numbers, right? I think you look at the last 2 year or 3 year period, I think there's been 2 test matches that have finished in a draw, or 3.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And most finishing in 3 days.
Correct.
Just data to show you 3 days. So 5 days is not even necessary.
Unless you're playing in Rawalpindi on a flat track or Multan or something. Where
but they also turned it around and suddenly 9 wickets in one session. Exactly. And suddenly the England's great batting lineup, which made 10 million runs at Lord's and Oval, comes to Rawalpindi, and Joe Root is like, I'll bat at 5 today.
Harry Brook can go in.
Harry Brook. Harry Brook was a little exposed with the white ball here in India.
More than exposed.
You think he can't read the spin? What is it?
It's going to be interesting to see him in the IPL, because after all the money spent on him, and he's gone to a certain side that is known for buying big boys and big names, and so I want to see how he goes.
You know that people can just trace who you're talking about.
No, it's fine.
So why are you holding
I'm
it back?
a Chennai boy.
It takes 1 second to check.
I'm a Chennai boy. I'm allowed to talk about RCB. It's fine. So it's fine.
The derby, the South derby.
The derby, the noisy neighbours on the other side. So it's going to be fun to see Harry Brook.
So does Virat get booed and all in Chidambaram?
I mean, he doesn't get booed. Actually, more just the Dhoni aura, right? It's just, I mean, I think
they go mad.
Dhoni's 3 year,
Dhoni's 3 balls per match is essential for IPL to go forward.
And the 3 year farewell tour is still continuing. I hope it continues on for longer, because honestly, the guy is also, people I think underestimate what a guy from Jharkhand, you know what it's like to be not liked in Chennai. Very easy to be not liked in Chennai. For a guy from Jharkhand with long hair to be loved as a Chennai guy, I mean, honestly, it tells you how special
Look at Chennai.
the guy is.
If you look at the dynamics of Chennai for a second, Rajni technically is a Maharashtrian.
Yeah.
Rajnikant.
So actually, our biggest heroes are not.
Ajit
Kumar is not.
Who lived in Bangalore.
Yeah, correct.
And then you bring him to Chennai.
Yeah.
So, Ajit Kumar. So there are so many examples like that,
Yeah, Ajit Kumar is not your typical TamBrahm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing that they have this ability to just take you and say, okay, I love you.
I think it's anyone who sort of embodies the culture, right? Like I think that's why I keep saying that Madras emotion. It's not just about being a TamBrahm. It's actually because I'm half a TamBrahm and I'm half Punjabi.
Let's not get caste politics into it.
No, not at all.
He's taking the wrong line now. Bro,
like...
I'm worried now. Yeah. I want my votes. I'm very pro DMK. Huh.
Gonna turn to my phone, call someone else random, like call my lawyer. How do I get out of this?
Don't call your lawyer. No, but so it's interesting, like you said, that they adopted him. But I remember in the early days of the IPL, going for some event there in Chennai and seeing the size of the poster of Dhoni, and not in the full body. It was just the head with the long hair and the Chennai Super Kings cap. I was like, is this Mahabalipuram or is this like a poster? Because it was so large, I mean, really, honestly, but you got to hand it to the Tamil culture when it comes to, if they lionize you, I mean, you're lionized. How can you go ridiculous. Back feeling normal?
Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
Start believing your own myth.
No, I saw it with Ajit, right? We did one of the...
He changed?
One of the random why not moments of my life. I did a film with him.
Oh, right, you did a movie, Veeram.
Veeram. So we both love riding. So we rode down...
what does that mean?
We both love riding bikes. 2 wheels with great machinery on it. Okay. Thank you very much, Cyrus. So we did these long rides from like Chennai to Kotagiri and different parts of the country, whatever. And we had guys chasing him in cars just to touch him. Yeah. Wow. And if they couldn't touch him, they would touch me and say, I've now touched you and you've touched him. And I'm not even joking.
Transitive property.
This actually happened.
That is the genius of the Tamil mind. Arguably the best mind in the country.
Unbelievable.
Look at the chess champions that come out. Transitive property. I like the thinking. You can go through. If A touches B and B has touched C, then A has touched C.
Exactly.
Correct.
So, I mean, it was this, right? This hero culture. And we've seen it, I guess, from the MGRs to Rajnikants to Ajit Kumar and everyone else. So, but once you're loved there, it's an unbelievable love, right? And I think CSK has that love.
But Dhoni, let's be honest, Dhoni, Kohli, Rohit Sharma for that matter, they just cut. This is a good part of India. They cut across the regions, and people just love them wherever they go.
Correct. And Rohit also, right? I think when you speak to, I had the pleasure.
He's loved.
Exactly.
But I think his personality also, not just his cricket.
Precisely. I was just
like the everyday guy who's obviously not making too much of an effort, so you empathize with him.
And the thing is, he binds the team together, right? I remember that Test series versus England. I was working on that, and I still remember the moment in Dharamshala where we were interviewing a bunch of the guys after we won the series, and all the young guys, all of them, universally said, with Rohit Bhai and Rahul Bhai, we're able to express ourselves. We're able to be ourselves, and they're getting the best out of us. And you think this is why Rohit Sharma is so loved, I think, in Indian cricket, right? He's just got this.
There's no switch, no? Rohit Sharma on the field, off the field, in the dressing room, in the car.
No, and even when you're sitting with him and having a meal or whatever it is,
yeah.
he's the same guy, right? Same sense of humor.
Just a gift of hands and timing.
Oh my God, unbelievable!
I don't think there's too many better. I just keep thinking Kalu. Do you get that?
Kalu, Azharuddin,
Azhar more risky.
But Marco also just the hands, ease of watching.
So God just give them talent, and so they can be who they are. It doesn't really matter. They don't have to show you their cricketer.
And natural leader, I think also. That's the other thing, right? I mean, take someone special to win the number of IPL titles and everything else he's won.
It's not done badly for India as well. It's just we're reaching the end of the career, and it happens to everybody.
And even now, look at that last 100 he scored. It was
but I don't know if they'll take him. We have to take a break, but I don't know if they'll take him to the BGT and to England. And I can't make up my mind what would be the right thing to do. Yeah,
it's a tough one because I think this is where if you are transitioning and if you're deciding to transition,
5 tests.
Yeah, you need leadership. I still think you need, and I think this is
you
where
need leadership. But after 2 or 3 tests, if you've not performed, are you going to do that Sydney debacle again? Because
but then who are you going to pick? Then you're still dropping Karun Nair, who's scoring 10,000 runs in a season.
I'm glad you brought that name up. I don't know why he's not been given a break now. Firstly, he made a triple century, played one more test, and then you dropped him, which is
Jason
really not right.
scoring a double hundred in Bangladesh, getting dropped.
Okay. And Jason is very clear that this everyone should know.
Or Brad Hodge, same thing, right? Scores a double in South Africa.
May have involved some disciplinary thing, but Karun Nair was just bad luck.
Yeah, and he's a good guy. Yeah, exactly.
Good guy. And now he's had the best season ever.
Triple 100, man.
In all forms. Yes. In all forms. He's scored runs in all forms against everybody in different parts.
That was doing unbelievable. Yeah, it's tough.
We are for Karun Nair, which means one guy can't tour England. We won't say who. We'll take a break and come back. And Mr. Chandhok and I will now talk about everything. Life in general. I want to talk a little tennis also. We don't get anyone to talk tennis.
Any sport. Hit me.
Superb. Volleyball, beach volleyball.
Sure.
You think we should wear shorter underwear?
We'll take a break now. Thanks very much. We'll see you back in a bit.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए ब्रोचा जनता पार्टी प्लीज लिसन स्मैश शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब as soon as you can. We have to make Cyrus Says the biggest English language podcast in the country.
What is this break?
I have to do potty and then I will eat my breakfast in tuxedo.
Bhen chod.
What did you just say?
Madan Kumar Bhen chod.
This is the stuff I want to see.
And I wanted to do pornography.
I will sell it to Pornhub. Sir, guy does not need to be in society.
I keep saying this. In Sweden, Lund is a name. L-U-N-D.
It's not Lund, it's Lund.
तभी ये साइरस बरूचा ना साइरस बरूचा तो साइरस ब्रोचा का पॉडकास्ट देखने का अच्छा है टाइम पास.
Okay, Suhail, just tell me what we can't talk about. Income tax returns. Huge.
I
Broadcasting,
wish
big business.
it would be beautiful. We're a bootstrap startup at the moment, trying to fundraise for our beautiful kabaddi ecosystem story of the
What do
Yuva
you mean?
Kabaddi series.
You own the team, right?
I'm talking about my actual side. I don't know. A, I don't own the team. B, I'm actually the only thing I own is being a co-founder of Elevate and the Yuva Kabaddi series, which is a ground.
So you own the entire franchise?
No. Well, we own what is the Yuva series, which is not worth much today. But whatever.
Much. That doesn't mean
we're
anything.
putting money back to the players.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything because it's like an investment. We'll see what
Well,
happens,
we'd
yeah.
hope that actually the investment is into the sport of kabaddi, which is growing,
Which
right?
grows and then you'll get something out of it as well.
I mean, of course, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's
fair
a
enough.
business. Yeah.
But let's quickly talk tennis before I run out of time. And Sinner,
Yeah.
I want to ask you now. Because we talk about BCCI and, Virat Kohli got a slap on the wrist
Yeah.
and yet I think Kunniman is being, called up for bowling and Aussies are going berserk about that.
Yeah,
saying,
correct.
for him now he has to do all this checking and all for his action. But Virat for the shoulder pushing, nothing happened. So that aside, the same thing in tennis. For a layman. I mean,
Yeah.
you're more in the sport than I am.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is tested for whatever he's tested for. You've gone up and down with it.
Yeah.
And then you give me a ban which allows him
Very
to play the
convenient.
Rome Open, if I'm correct, as his warm-up for the clay season. And then he gets French Open.
Yeah.
And so the Grand Slams are unaffected.
Yeah.
So, and he probably will happily take a break,
Oh, of course.
playing 2 less
He'd
tournaments
just add
a year.
more muscle to himself
Add more
and
muscle.
turn up more
get
beastly.
fit,
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
So
It's a tough one because, actually, the same thing weirdly happened to Shaun Tait as well. Again, world number 1 on the women's side. Her break.
But she's
her-
retired after
her-
that.
No. Iga Swiatek still
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
Right? Her ban came during November, December. There's no tennis. Right? So again, world number 1 gets banned or suspended at the perfect convenient time. She's back to play Aussie Open.
But then
Doesn't
who-
go on to win. But
then who are they fooling? There's no penalty involved really.
so I think
because
this is why, and I think a lot of players, and look, normally most people do not agree with Nick Kyrgios.
Wawrinka and all went berserk.
Correct.
on
But
Twitter.
Nick Kyrgios, Wawrinka, look, going berserk, and I think justifiably so, because you've got a Simona Halep that's been serving like a 2-year ban.
Yeah.
Pretty much is retired out of the sport. Multiple others who've done the same. I'm just saying be consistent, right? And I think
No,
unfortunately...
I'm confused as a layman watching. Is he guilty or not?
So-
What the F are you trying to tell me
Yes.
now?
So I think a couple of things, right?
Oh.
In Iga Swiatek's case, there was a melatonin version of melatonin that she took, which was actually tainted, and so it wasn't her fault, and therefore the suspension
No,
was.
look, so the way to do this is you have to mask your drug properly, right? First, I find out something which has it. Okay, that's what my nutritionist and my dietitian do for me.
Yeah.
And then we have our bahana is
You
ready.
should have
so
been
to
with
speak.
Lance Armstrong for those 10 years, man.
Yeah, well, I could have, but I think he had one less than me at that point. So. Oh, sorry. That's so unnecessary. No ball, free hit, unnecessary.
The
Still a
only thing you didn't
champion.
do is anyway,
Still
I'm
a
not gonna
champion.
go-
No, come on. I because everybody was taking those are blood thinners or whatever. They
We don't
basically
really
help
know.
your
There was
stamina.
horse stuff, there was
Yeah.
blood thinners, there was transfusions. We don't really know what. But-
Endurance sport, but I'm saying if everybody's taking, it's like bodybuilding.
That's
You
the
pick
thing, it's
yourself.
everyone-
You can't compete in Mr. Olympia without taking
Correct.
anabolics.
And I
okay?
think
It's not
that's the
gonna
tough part, right?
happen.
Because
Yeah.
I think at cycling at the time, everyone was taking it. And whether one guy comes out and pretends like he's holier than thou.
So
and I think there was a
is
tough
tennis
part.
a tainted sport?
So
And-
that's the thing, right? And now everyone's just confused because now everyone's like, look, if the top players are taking it and are protected, firstly, you've got to be uniform. You can't just protect the top 10 because the image of the sport is otherwise going to die out. And therefore, you want your top guys to be on display because people are going to pay to come watch a Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz and Nadal, Federer, Djokovic.
But
Of the
there's no
past,
point
etc.
punishing world number 286, right?
Correct.
I mean, this is the guy. You tell us yes or no.
Correct.
You're fooling us otherwise.
Which is what I honestly think. To me, this is ridiculous that conveniently the ban sits between 2 Grand Slams. He's just won the Aussie Open. The guy's in the prime of his life. And now, whether or not he's done it on purpose or not, then slap him on the wrist. Make him at least sit out a couple of Grand Slams, yeah?
No, but otherwise say no.
Otherwise,
we
exactly.
accept it.
Otherwise say
we
no.
accept this
You
is,
can't-
This is an
precisely.
accident and we're okay with
Correct.
it. I don't
Now,
mind that
what
also.
is this in between? Because my point is now you've accepted that he's done something. If he has, then slap him on the wrist properly.
No, it's
or
like-
don't give him a ban.
In Swiatek's case, if she's going to show you a melatonin thing, which is, I can buy across the
Correct.
counter with so and so substance
and
in
that
it.
is so that batch of melatonin was tainted, which is why I can understand.
Okay, so I'm
Fine,
saying
because it took that
if
long
you
to
buy
figure it-
that,
sure.
then they're innocent.
Correct.
Because these are normal things.
Correct.
Sleep
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, we all
whatever.
take it when we
all
travel
take
or
it.
whatever.
So I'm saying, okay.
That's okay.
But don't do this acting where you give him a 3-month ban and then
Precisely.
he comes back just in time for
Precisely.
French Open.
Correct.
And then has a great year.
Yeah. And
He's
he's going to have a
rested.
good year.
Everything is fine. 2 months of good
And the guy
rest.
is playing the tennis of his life. He is hitting the ball harder than
Arguably, he's going to be the next.
Yes,
there's no question.
Him and Alcaraz are the future, right?
Exactly.
We're going to see
Yeah.
that same Roger Rafa.
Sorry, Zverev.
Yeah.
Don't believe in.
Well, we said Zverev was on a chat with us and he said the same thing. He said, "Look, I'm in the era of Roger Rafa, Novak,
As they
and Andy.
die, these guys are born and
guys
I'm
are coming.
screwed in the middle.
And I'm just there, and it's tough for guys like him. It's tough for like a Wawrinka, for instance.
But I don't see 3 players in this lineup, 60 plus Grand Slams between them. That may not happen.
No,
I don't think
it's a
that'll
crazy
happen.
stat actually because I think the 80s have 60 slams,
Yeah.
the 90s have 2, and the 2000s already have 6.
Wow.
So like ridiculous, right? That Roger, Rafa, Novak, Andy have gone through the 80s and 90s dominating.
My God.
90s kids have 2.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's an 80s.
I mean, it's
straight
ridiculous.
in. Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a
How
joke.
do really, they just changed the game.
Completely. And you'll never see, you're right. You'll never see records like that.
competitive sport. Quick word on Djokovic though.
Yeah.
This whole timeout that he takes. See, I'm a big Djokovic fan. He's a German Shepherd owner and all that. And I just like the way he is. And
I've just I like you a little bit more now when you said you're a German Shepherd owner. I've had German Shepherds for 30 years.
yes.
Now not
See,
anymore.
I come from a family where dogs first, people last. So that's firstly.
I don't have kids because we have a dog. My wife
You have
said
done
we're
the
not
right-
having kids. We said okay. Then the
How can you
agreement is dog.
kids are so ugly, Baba. What are you saying?
I'm trying to save the Parsis.
That's true.
Come on.
But they have to accept you, no?
yeah.
Now Ronnie has the power.
I'm a funny.
Ronnie can start his own Parsi religion.
I'll never forget actually at
Parsi
my own
B.
my own wedding where when we sort of went to meet the
Dasurji.
the Dasurjis at the Agyari, right? And firstly because I'm not allowed
They
in.
let you in?
No, exactly. So I'm not allowed in. So I've been taken to some random side room, back room somewhere
But
to
yes,
explain.
You're quite Parsi looking. You can pass
I
off.
could pass off, yeah. But I've been taken to some side room, whatever. And he's explaining to me how because we were doing sort of a mix of a Hindu puja and a Parsi
See?
fire.
Center?
Right? Correct.
This
center.
is the India you want.
Center, correct.
Countries and cultures coming together.
So, so we were doing this amalgamation, right, of a ceremony or whatever. So I'm in this side room and I remember he's telling me, this is how, and your parents also can come. So I was like, sure, thanks, Dasurji. So my parents are allowed at my own wedding. I'll take that. And I look at my wife saying, what are you
Allowed
doing here?
where?
Like, yeah.
Outside the Agyari.
No, they're saying, no, at the wedding your parents also can sit. I was like, oh.
At the Lagan.
Yeah. They're like, I'm like, oh, thanks, that's a win. And I'm supposed to like feel good about myself for like allowing my parents to sit at my wedding. I was like, thank you, I'll take that. So yeah. So there's a nice history.
Arya Samaj. Next time.
Yeah, well, we did half and half.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You did.
We did half
All
and
good.
half. So it's okay.
Yeah.
So I've kept both happy.
Coming back to tennis for a quick second. So he has these timeouts, which he's famous for.
Yeah.
I mean, you know better than me. And he
We
just
got in
takes-
trouble during the Aussie Open.
No, you guys discussed it also. And
did.
I remember listening to the discussion. But this is a very good point, a moot
Yeah.
point to bring up.
Yeah.
He does that, and very often his gears
Back
change.
in beast mode, yeah.
Now, so what happens? Is it just he needs that break to go up, or is there
Look,
a chance that,
Look, none of us know, right? The key is, look, it could be a mentality switch where he looks in a mirror and maybe, who knows, right? Just
the rhythm
like
changes.
cool runnings.
The bad rhythm goes, the
yeah,
good rhythm
who knows,
comes back.
Who knows, right?
In cricket, it happens all the time.
Of course.
Drinks break and a change
exactly,
happens.
and a change
Yeah.
happens, right? The fact that, as you said, it happens so often, it could be anything, right? But we don't know. And at the end of the day, now you can't go on assumptions. It's very, very difficult to go on assumptions. But at the same time, obviously there's a lot of questions asked because you can't play 3 sets, look like you're deadbeat, and then come out for the next 2 sets and look like you are at the top of your
True,
game.
but you're also giving the other guy 3 minutes off. So, I
Correct.
mean, for what it's worth, he's also getting a little time out.
Correct. So, look, at the end of the day, none of us know what exactly goes behind the world of any athlete, right? Whether in any sport. And I think you can't, therefore, base it on assumptions. You would like to believe that the WADA, the tennis associations, the cricket association, everyone's there to anyway overview it and to
If
see
it's
it,
purely
right?
psychological, you have like McEnroe, the first that I
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
Lara, Kohli.
Yeah.
They'd like a spat.
Yes.
They like to just...
They look for it.
They look for it. But
They
blood,
look for it.
after the
Novak literally finds a guy.
Yeah.
Now he started doing
Yeah,
this
to
where
target.
he literally
Yeah.
finds
Yeah,
a target
yeah.
and goes after
Yeah.
him, right?
But-
Just to get his.
But he likes
his juices
Indians love
going.
him. so he doesn't ever target us. It's somebody else. It's always somebody
and
else.
he loves India as well.
Yeah,
He comes out literally wanting the Indian fan base.
Would you
coming
rank
to it.
him number 1 out of the 3?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't. I mean, I think because I look at an overall. In the numbers, sure, right?
Yeah.
But I just think the way he's
But
gone
leave the
about
numbers
it,
aside. Who is your
for
Federer?
me, it's kind of weirdly Roger and Rafa together. I just
You
think.
put him third.
Yeah, I kind of put him
Novak?
third. Yeah.
I'll fight for you.
I mean, the numbers. The way he's transformed himself. Going gluten free and all of that.
Also, out of the 3, he's the one who, end of the career, is still kicking.
And he's
Where
going
you
to
could
be.
see
and
the decline.
He's going to be the
happen.
greatest of all time in terms of numbers. I don't think anyone can dispute that or ever catch that. Just the way he goes about it, I think he's just so clinical, right?
You still expect semis or finals at least this season?
Exactly. For sure.
Which is
For
tremendous.
Sure.
Yeah, he's
And
37.
he's
He'll be in
clinical.
August. Yeah.
Clinical, right? Like he's mechanical. He's like a robot.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have chutney. That guy is unbelievable.
But to me, I don't know, the flavors, like watching Rafa slide on the clay, hit one massive top spin, that big vamos at the end of it, or Roger just easing into it. There's something
He's
special
more
to me.
retriever than German Shepherd, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
Just
yeah.
keep giving the ball
Correct.
back.
Just put the damn
remember
ball
in
back.
squash terms, Jahangir Khan, when I was young, I don't know if you watched him.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is Jahangir Khan is not going to do anything
Yeah.
except send the ball
Correct,
back.
correct.
And then you will at some point say, boss,
Yeah,
both ho
I'm
gaya.
done. Yeah.
You take the
I'm
game.
done.
I
Take
want
the point.
to have a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Let's now talk about Champions Trophy. My
Yeah.
lovely friend Prithvi is a big cricket fan also. 5 spinners.
Look, it's a tough one. I think it's kind of one of those play to your strengths, but also you forget that these spinners are also giving you batting. And I think that's the biggest
3 of
one,
them,
right?
huh?
Aksar, Washi,
And
Jaddu.
Jaddu.
Right.
And you've got your 2 leggies who are not... okay, they're bowlers.
I mean,
But
don't
you'll
tell
play one
Kuldeep-
of them.
Don't
and
tell Kuldeep that.
You'll play one
He'll
of
get
them
upset.
one left armer and one. I mean, if you want variety, and
but-
Washi.
So this is going to be the interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play 2 left-arm spinners. If you've got a team of
2 left arm all rounders. Let's go. They're both batting all rounders
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
Proper through and through batting all rounders.
And he's
who
been
are gonna win you
floating left,
games.
right, and centre with Akshar, hasn't he?
Exactly, and they're going to win you games with the bat as
Yeah.
well, right? So
That-
I think people underestimate the role that
What
they play
wickets
as
are there in
batters.
Dubai? Are we looking at the flattish, slow and low wickets, right?
Precisely. So you're as good as playing a Jaddu or an Aksar who's going to attack the stumps, give you no room to breathe. Is going to be as important as getting a pacer who's going to give you a couple of balls where you can use the pace of the ball and go after him.
True.
Right? Especially on those tracks. So I think this has a
why do
Rohit
we have-
Sharma template written all over it. Like this
okay.
is just a
Horses for courses.
matchup. Rohit's a data matchup
Would you
guy.
Would you ever play 4?
Why not?
So
Why-
literally
if you
play
know
one,
there's a team that up
Hardik
against you-
Pandya as an extra 6 bowler. You have 1
Correct.
seamer and 4 spinners.
You've got Hardik, you've got Reddy as well,
Yeah.
right? So you've got the ability to do it. You've got a side. Let's say you know England are exposed at the moment to spin,
Yeah.
right? You've got Varun who's been added,
Yeah.
right? Varun Chakravarti is a
Varun's
match
got their
winner.
number. So I would have
Completely.
depending
Straight in there.
it's
He'd
a
be the
tough
first
one.
name on the list in some
Yeah.
sense, right?
You think?
I think so, just because he's so
His confidence is up as well.
and he's very
Chennai
hard to
boy,
pick.
you basket. I didn't see
thought
that
I'll just
coming.
slide it
The
in there.
regionalism is
I thought I'll just slide it in
Yeah,
there.
that ball, yeah. Wow.
Took a little.
That came in
that's
with
why
the
I
arm.
didn't- That's
That
why I
came in
didn't
with
say.
the arm.
Yeah, I didn't say Chakravarti.
No,
I just said Varun and left it there.
And I bought it completely.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I love the guy.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to spend some time with him in last year, the Kolkata Knight Riders podcast.
Yeah.
Didn't call us back for some reason. But we had a good time and he was great fun.
Yeah.
And
And such a late took to cricket
late start.
Yeah.
And from street cricket.
Yeah.
literally. I mean,
Which is why though, like when you play street cricket in Madras, you use a lot of your finger, like squeezing the ball out.
This is true of Ashwin as well.
Yeah, exactly. And Ashwin actually was a batter.
Yeah.
I remember when I was playing with him, he was a batter. I went to Australia, came back.
Batter
Ashwin's
and wanted to bowl quick.
correct.
And then
I
from
came
there,
back and Ashwin suddenly,
Off-spinner.
offie, and I was like, what the hell? And he, always very intelligent cricketer, right? Just knew how to outsmart another cricketer. And I think that's kind of
And he
using
was
the
working on deliveries all his life.
all the time.
He's one of those guys who's always trying to, it's just like it's not over for him.
Outsmart.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
a lot of respect for the way he just called it quits also. You know, I don't know what the whole story is, but I don't think it's as controversial as people think. I think he
No.
just said, I'm not going to get a place in the Sydney team or they're not, whatever. Where does he go from there anyway?
Correct.
There's no test cricket till England.
I think
in
he's-
England, you're going to play maybe Jadeja. Then,
Yeah, and I think it's also kind of at a time where there's nothing to prove,
Yeah.
right? He's ticked every box.
But
that
Anil
is-
Kumble's wicket tally was there, so I always thought if
Yeah.
he plays another season,
and
he's
they have a
gonna get
lot of
close.
mutual respect. Huh?
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah,
But
so
now
maybe-
I don't see. Do you see anyone breaking Anil Kumble's record? How much Test cricket will you play?
That's the point. That's the point.
Not just talent, that also.
And
Yeah.
I think I kind of like it to be that way. I think
because we want our guys to remain with the records. No upstarts whose names we don't know coming up.
Correct. It kind of feels, it feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just has that nice.
I didn't want to become this old uncle never growing up who now wants to defend his generation, but I've become that. Yeah. I'm like, don't put Gavaskar's name with so and so. I'm like, please, don't. It's not fair. Like my dad used to do that with Bradman. He said, we never mentioned Bradman in a conversation. Bradman is like God.
Correct.
And then you say Garfield Sobers was the best batsman you saw, Everton Weeks, or people like Sunil Gavaskar, Ben Richards, whatever.
Exactly.
You come up with the name, but Bradman is out of it. I don't know. So that's
I know actually, and being in Adelaide for 5 years,
very Parsi thing. Be careful.
And actually
we get aggressive about it. Bradman, stop.
You'll be glad. Actually, one of my most prized possessions is a bat signed by Bradman, which I've got like from his kids from the museum when I was in Adelaide. It was one of the things I hunted down.
He went to the kids' school. 5-year-old kid was playing with his teacher, and you stole his bat. And typical Desi story. Unbelievable. The kid changed his name, no? One of them, because he didn't want
he didn't want to carry the Bradman baggage.
No, they kept asking him growing up. He couldn't take it anymore.
Correct. And look,
they behave like Indians.
But exactly. And that's...
Yeah.
Why do I put myself through this?
It's true.
Yeah, but
the great thing about the Aussie culture is that it's just you could be Steve Waugh, Ricky Ponting, whatever. You're a normal guy.
And
right?
that's the thing, right? I was saying this to someone the other day also, right? You go to a pub in Australia and you've got like a CEO of a company with a guy who's cleaning a drain somewhere, sitting at the bar at the same time having a chat, right? And I think that lack of a class system actually allows for it. And I think it's a really nice culture, therefore, right? You grow up in that culture where you turn up, you're cycling to work, you go have a shower, you change your shoes from your Asics to your suited, booted stuff.
Fake respect that we have in certain cultures.
Correct.
Because you're older, respect.
Correct.
Because you're more money, respect. Because you're wearing pants, respect.
Yeah,
it's all based on what?
And it's one of the first things we broke actually at U Mumba as a culture. When I came in, I don't want the players touching the coach's feet.
Oh God,
I said, if you really respect him, show it on the court, Go play,
You really
play for
respect
him.
and give him 50% of your income.
Yeah,
That's
also,
real respect.
fine.
Don't give me. I don't want people touching my
correct.
feet. Bro, you're OG.
But why
I'm
you
OG.
give me then?
Give me your money.
Exactly.
Show me respect. Then offer me some of the people from your house. Ranveer, if you're listening. All power to our leader.
I'm so
Suhail, what are we going to do, bro?
so screwed,
There must be a corner in the world we can hide into this.
I want to hide behind this curtain.
Really?
Like it's a quicker exit.
Shaun Tait at 160. You weren't worried about?
That was nothing. That I can just leave. I can just duck under it, sway the other way, leave, get hit on the shoulder. It's okay. Here it's just like I'm sitting 2 feet away. There's no escape.
You think this is the worst experience with the fastest bowler in the world on the fast
And you've
track?
shoved a mic here where I can't get up also.
Yeah,
So
true. And the worst part is that we become, whether we like it or not, if you laugh, smile, whatever, like in that show that we should not mention.
Which is why I don't know what expression to put on my face also. Just cut to his shot, please.
No, somebody was saying online, how can they all laugh and smile? I'm like,
What
they're
do
in
you
that
do?
room.
They're in the
That's
room.
the mood.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who's going to stand up and say, no?
He just sits there and like, it's a tough one, man. Like you feel for anyone who's...
It's out of context, bro. So
Exactly.
It's like we discussed. I mean, if we're talking like this in the dressing room, for example, we make sexual comments and all this. It's all good.
You do, is it?
Well, you do. I listen.
Shocking, man. I didn't know this,
You're a quick learner, Shaun Tait.
What dressing room are you in?
I don't know.
I've never been
Back in Chennai when we were playing together.
No, we are simple South Indian boys.
When VB sir would tell us,
we would
pad
never
up,
talk-
boys,
no,
pad
no,
up.
we would never. God help us. No, we would never talk about things like that.
Yeah. Oof.
Room culture.
Ouch,
No.
man. Yeah, so anyway, we're on the side of liberal thought and I just think we're wasting time with this. Not our podcast, even that too. But definitely
maybe, who knows?
I mean,
At
why
this point,
lie?
at this
Really?
point,
I mean, if you really look at it, India's Got Talent is at least doing something entertaining. I mean, what the hell are we doing?
I more than anything else, I think it's harsh to then have to say I need to take all my episodes down.
I think you're killing artists. I know people will say how broadly are you taking this art thing. But
You can slap someone on the wrist. I understand. I think someone needs to be maybe. And the guy he's young. He's going to make mistakes.
He's going to start editing himself. He's going to be worried going forward. People who work with him are worried going forward. You're just killing the talent.
I just think you lose. You don't want someone to not be themselves, right?
Exactly.
And I think
Well,
you can
there
tell
are people
someone
you don't want
you
to-
need. Well, but I'm saying let the person work. Help the person work on themselves. Be a better
It's
version
the
of yourself.
punishment with the crime, for God's sake, man.
Yeah.
I mean, on the same day, so many people died Don't complete the sentence. We're okay. We have legal standing. Don't worry. You are coming from Tamil Nadu. Chidambaram family is all lawyers. I'll organize it. Don't worry. Oh. Don't go anywhere. What are you doing? Don't cover, bro.
I'm Suhail Chandhok from half Punjabi.
From Adelaide.
Half
From Adelaide.
Punjabi, half. I'm now not Tamilian anymore. My mother passed away last year. I'm only Punjabi now. I'm no longer South Indian. So like now.
Did you speak it in Punjabi?
No.
Oh, excellent. I'll teach you some. Oh, tere. Have you seen Latin? Latin में क्या मांझो दिखाते हैं लोग?
Latin को क्या है पता नहीं sir.
Yeah.
I don't understand Hindi. You know, I'm from South India.
Right.
I'm Tamilian.
Right. Yeah. Some of the best writers.
எனக்கு தமிழ் தான் தெரியும். ஹிந்தில தெரியாது.
Yeah. You teach me some Tamil. Teach me some Tamil galis, no?
There's a lot, but again.
How do we see simple MC? MC बोल.
நான் நல்லா பையன்.
Nalla paye.
நான் நல்லா பையன்.
Na lala paye.
Yeah.
Huh. No? What's he? It's on me? Why is he laughing?
I just said you're a very good boy. I'm a very good boy. I left it there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's not a gali?
I don't teach you galis. We don't do galis.
Bro, if I get into trouble with a
Dressing
rickshaw
rooms are-
driver,
after you said you
rickshaw driver, Kannada in Bangalore,
no.
Tamil, how do you fight?
Bangalore rickshaw drivers and Chennai rickshaw drivers very different.
Very different?
Yeah, very different.
Oh, you're going to take the Kaveri waters here? I mean, leave the. This is not the right place for that kind of discussion, brother. What the? I can't.
We
this
make
derby. Stop this. Ends with the derby. It's cricket.
Chennai makes good sambar. Bangalore makes sweet sambar. I'll just leave it there. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow. Okay, let's get back to the team. So you're okay with the spinners?
I just think the Rohit Sharma template is there, and I think therefore trusting the Rohit template, it's worked in the past. We saw it work when we won the T20 World Cup as well. I think there's a set template that he wants to utilize the team best, and I think this kind of has that little imprint on it. And if Gambhir's seal of approval is there as well, I think it could work.
Also,
well.
what you're saying, look at the 8 teams in the competition. 4 or 5 of them are a little weak against spin traditionally, and also, I mean, Australia's coming with no form.
Australia's coming with no
Super
players.
red ball season.
Australia's coming with no players.
With no players. Their bowling attack is just gone.
Yeah.
Literally, there's all 5
No
bowlers
Travis
gone.
Head, no Cummins, no Hazelwood, no Stark.
It's
I mean what's
ridiculous.
going on? Yeah.
So let's face it, they don't look very good and probably not going to really do much. But again, weak against spin, at least in these conditions.
Yeah.
Then England just proven themselves to be not.
I think the only team that's anomaly
Africa's on the
is
up.
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
New Zealand,
I
very
wonder
good against
where
spin.
New Zealand got their confidence from. Could it be a 3-test match series against powerful India on spinning tracks where we were bowled out by Ajaz Patel and half a off spinner called Glenn or something?
Phillips.
My God.
Yeah, that was. I think that's
I can't
actually
get over that he's a wicketkeeper batsman who's an excellent outfielder and just bowled
Unbelievable.
off breaks just to try and get into the team like you, not you, but like I would if I was trying to get into the team.
I actually think he's people don't give him enough credit. I actually think he's the best fielder in
the world.
world cricket,
Yeah,
and I think he's
possibly.
on par with Jonty Rhodes. Like he's that
that
level.
good.
That level.
That good.
He's unbelievable.
What about Jaddu?
No, Jaddu, honestly, I thought
Jaddu's
was the world's
faster
best
in the
fielder.
outfield than any of them.
No, Phillips is there.
You think Phillips is as quick?
Yeah. I mean, Jaddu to me is like the perfect fielder.
Yeah.
But I think Glenn Phillips is he's taken that up a notch. And I think just New Zealand, right? They're very unassuming.
Fielding is always been
underrated.
a strong skill.
They want to be the
It's that
underdogs.
rugby kind of ethos, they're just good with that.
Yeah.
And they're like good Australians, no? They hunt in
They're
packs,
sweet
but they don't
guys,
abuse you as
Australians.
much.
Yeah.
It's you're right, actually. I'll take that. I'll accept that point from you that New Zealand is the dark horse in a sense.
I think they and South Africa are kind of in the mix.
Also on the up at the moment.
Yeah.
Quickly, what about our neighbours?
Afghanistan.
Oh, that's not even funny anymore. They're getting better and better at least white ball
But I
format.
actually think because now Australia, and I think if I'm right, India and New Zealand are in one group, and they could come out of there. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I think actually in the second group, Afghanistan and New Zealand, or I think New Zealand's in the other group or South Africa, one of the two, depending. But I think India, South Africa, New Zealand, Afghanistan. I was going to say Australia, but I think Afghanistan could be the 4 teams.
I think Australia is just coming for a holiday because Pakistani food is lovely.
Yeah.
Then they get to Dubai a couple of matches as well. So they're just having
shopping.
a break. Yeah, they're having a break for the World Test Championship June 11. So that's where the mind is. For some reason, I think this is really not a great.
However, having said that, Australia
Pakistan.
turn up at big tournaments. So
They do.
Yeah.
They do punch above their weight whenever they need to. But what about Pakistan?
that's now. I think you flip a coin and where it lands, you'll figure it out.
Talent not the way it used to be.
No, it's weird, because we used to say, they've got talent and it doesn't
Falling
turn
out of the
but
the fast bowlers just fall out.
yeah,
Right?
and now you've still got 1 or 2 guys, Haris Rauf,
Shaheen didn't look that good. I've been watching red
lost
ball,
that,
white ball, everything.
That late swing.
And he got hit very badly against New
Shocking.
Zealand. I mean, they went for like 25 runs in one over and all that.
He went for 88, 80 something. And I think that's the concern, right? I think they don't have that stability.
They've got Fahim,
Babar is in.
Fahim who they don't want.
Yeah,
so they push
you got
Fahim
Short
on.
Shakil who's scoring some runs, but they lost.
Yeah,
out
but
there.
his red ball record is very good. Not
exactly
so white ball.
Not so much white ball, right? So they're chucking in new guys constantly.
And where's the spinners?
Yeah, exactly. They got only Abrar. I
You're
think
talking about 5 spinners in India. We can give them 2. I mean,
Sajid again. Red
Abrar
ball.
also. It's not like Abrar is setting the Thames on fire.
No, they think he's our version of Varun Chakravarti.
England used to rule Pakistan. That's why I said Thames. I'm sorry, I take it back. Yeah, and India.
Yeah. I think our version of Varun Chakravarti is kind of like a budget version.
You think?
Well, I think he's just not got the. Varun's got this ability to go quick off the wicket as well, and then the
And
length.
let's not discount the confidence factor. Once you've got those wickets, you're another bowler.
Of course.
Like Kumble used to be like that. Give him a wicket and he went
And
into
Kumble would just attack you, right?
one wicket to Kumble, and you know the opposition's in big trouble.
And
after
imagine if Kumble bowled with DRS. Like I always
Oh my
keep
God,
thinking,
yeah,
if Kumble had DRS, the number of wickets he would have would be.
And what
I
if
can't
Kumble
even
bowled
imagine.
on those wickets that Pakistan provided against England in
Oh,
the recent
yeah.
series?
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been something.
Just be spitting.
Turning from the first session.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I mean, Jasprit Bumrah would be on holiday. But like, bro, I know you're not injured, but you can go to Spain. Just like that.
I think they bowled 1 over of pace or something.
Can you believe
and that was it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's back in the Gavaskar days era where they
This
would
Noman Ali
Abid
and
Ali
Sachin,
and
yeah,
all would take the new ball for
back
2
then,
overs.
yeah. So I think Pakistan always I wouldn't say they're a dark horse, though, because I just think
Well, they did chase that 353.
Exactly.
So the batting is not.
The batting is not
if
fragile
Rizwan
at all,
Babar
right?
get going if Fakhar Zaman can find his form, which he
Correct.
lost 5 years ago.
Correct. He seems to have found it.
And the one kid I really like, not kid, but is Salim Agha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that guy is he's like a Ravi Shastri kind of cricketer.
Yeah.
He will perform.
100%.
He'll come to fight.
So I think the batting is not a concern, but I just think over the course of a tournament like this, which is a multi-nation tournament, slightly longer, the 1-2 games that you are inconsistent with might cost you. Right? So I think I don't know if they've got the chops to go.
Also,
deep.
not winning is another issue now because you lack that little confidence.
Correct.
The winning teams that you
Winning's
just
a habit,
mentioned-
losing's also a habit. Yeah.
Correct. SA, NZ, and India,
Correct.
and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. These
Yeah.
4 teams are on form and on paper seem a little
I just
happier.
think, and Afghanistan, whether they win or lose, I think they just play fearless cricket.
Yeah.
Right? So I think for them, that mentality hasn't quite kicked in of, if I lose, we're going to be bad.
Yeah.
Right? It just seems like they're still coming out and playing fearless cricket.
Arguably the best white ball bowler in the world for the last 3-4 seasons,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Although this 26 age, I'm a little worried about.
Forget it.
The-
It doesn't matter. It's not
important.
age group cricket anymore.
Age certificate
Yeah,
dikhana
yeah. This
padega.
is no longer under 19 World Cup.
I know.
It's okay now.
I know.
Now it's okay.
I know, but
Yeah.
our part of the world, how many cricketers just
correct.
remain 21, 22, and then suddenly they're,
yeah.
suddenly
Forget
they're old
bone
with
density
beards and
checks.
like,
Yeah.
what happened? You were 22 yesterday.
You would have seen it in rugby, man. Like,
Wow.
Yeah,
Can you
so
imagine?
It's impossible
Well,
to...
I've stayed in comedy, which is worse. Contact sport. Comedy is a contact sport. Did I mention those 2 guys?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea who they are. I don't know who they are. Never heard of them.
Can we do the AMAs? Okay, we have an AMA from our sports-loving viewer and fan. I mean, fan is not a nice word. He's better than fan. Harvespa, Parsi boy from Ahmedabad, crazy about cricket.
Nice.
And also footy. Yeah.
Is there a specific prep routine you go through for television presentations for different sports?
Only a Parsi will ask you this. No?
It's actually a really cool question.
Yeah, and it's also the most boring question
Yeah, it's also
of the entire hour.
Yeah.
By a huge
Literally,
margin.
on a Cyrus show, I think it's a.
I mean,
really, you could have thought of anything else to
But
ask.
you can really bore the audience
Yeah,
with a long one on
actually,
this one.
yeah,
Na?
yeah.
I get up at 5:30.
I would love to say absolutely not. It's just sitting in my brain. I turn up, I know everything about every sport, and I rock up. No, but we get
Yeah, but
sent
that's
like,
not fair.
No, that's not.
Ultimately, Suhail, because you love sport.
I do. I'm a sports nuffi.
So what people don't understand is that you've done 37 years of training.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to do so much training. I mean, obviously you want to get familiar with what you're talking about or whatever, but it's all there.
You're right. I mean, and I think I always say this, right? I'm hoping no one from the people who actually pay me for my contracts is listening, but I actually would pay to sit with an Anil Kumble, a Brian
There's
Lara.
only an
and do-
NGO of mine that listens.
Very good. That's okay.
And sends
That's
us
wonderful.
one
That's
rupee
wonderful.
coins. Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? Like you said, for me, who's grown up watching these guys as like my idols, to then sit in the same room with them and watch a game of cricket and get paid to talk about it. To me, it's like kind of I'm pitching myself every day, right?
Yeah.
So
and tell us one thing. Does it take a little while for you to sort of,
Initially,
let's not be a fan?
Initially,
and
I think
be
it
normal.
did. Yeah, initially, I think it did. Today, I mean, after you get the opportunity to get to know them, you realize they're just like you. You're playing, a sport with them or having a drink with them, and you break that boundary of a fan. I think it's a very nice relationship.
So
then you start
familiarity
to,
breeds contempt.
basically,
Yeah.
right? But I think it's not just contempt. You still have an appreciation for the fact that, like, every day you're sitting with them, you know that you're sitting in a very special place, right? And I think, therefore, when you've grown up, as you said, for 37 years, all I've known is sport, right? And I've had the ability and thankfully the freedom to have lived a life in sport. And therefore, for me, there's a lot less data-driven prep that I need to do, because a lot of it is sitting in my head. But still, when I go to a new sport, when I go to a Grand Slam, I want to look back at a certain year that someone's had, or
See, the few
you get
times-
data packs that come in and all that shit.
No, true, but the few times that I've done these live shows or
Yeah.
whatever, T20 World Cup we did, the producer in the ears is not pain
Oh
in the
my God.
ass. Because they're used to people who don't know anything about
Correct,
sport.
correct.
And when you have your own opinions,
Yes.
it's irritating to hear somebody else's.
Which is where it's very critical to
Yeah.
have a producer that you work with
Yeah.
more
Who
regularly.
knows you as a person.
And so
Yeah.
quite often, actually, my producer and I are just having banter.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, and they're like literally giving me crap in my ear while I'm about to say
I'll
something.
give you a hack. You call up Papa Ronnie and the producer will disappear.
I don't
It'll
want
take
them.
5 minutes.
If only life was so easy for me, I would have done that a long time
Have you not
ago.
heard of the
I would-
Parsi Mafia?
I would have got more gigs than I'm doing. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I would have done much bigger gigs than I've done.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
to be fair, I think when you develop that relationship with a...
No, so he's asking about preparation. Is there a preparation?
There is a preparation. I think you have to have, because you get exposed, especially with cricket. Everyone, you have to remember,
Everyone's
everyone
a
is an armchair
pundit,
expert.
yeah.
Exactly. So one word that comes out of your mouth that's off, whether it's a stat, whether it's,
Or that you're biased towards or against or for.
yeah. I mean, the fact that I'm from Chennai,
Like,
forget that.
You praise a Pakistani cricketer, you'll get
Gone.
trolled.
Forget getting trolled, right? You're going to get trolled no matter what.
You say drop a senior cricketer in India, you'll get trolled.
Gone.
Yeah.
You say anything about, like, you sit here.
North zone versus South zone,
Precisely.
Mumbai versus
Which
Chennai.
is why, thankfully, I have one foot in each. So I can say I'm North Indian when I feel like. I can say I'm South Indian when I feel like. Now I can add
Rana
Parsi to
Kapoor
the
is the
mix.
same, huh?
Yeah.
Half Tamil, half Punjabi.
Correct,
So you two
correct.
guys are perfect
Yeah,
for this.
we've cracked it. We've cracked the code.
There's no dog in the
Yeah,
fight, yaar.
Yeah, we've cracked the code.
Except you attack Bengal for no reason.
Yeah, it's okay. That's the one place I guess we have no footing.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So we get away with most things, but there's also, I think, that the thing people forget is you have to look at relevance, because you're sent a 40-page stat sheet. Now, if you look at all of that, you're going to get screwed in your head when you get to your show. So actually, it's the relevance of the main protagonist of a show that you're talking about, right? A show for cricket or anything else is like your story. There's a start, there's an end, there's a hook, there's whatever else, right? If you go into all the 40 storylines there, you're going to get muddled in your mind. So actually, a lot of things that I tell sort of other presenters or commentators is actually pick and choose what you really need for a show or for your commentary stint. It's not going to be those 40 pages. It's relevance, because half the stuff is, anyway, you've got a lower third, you've got a ticker, you've got this, feeding stats right through. So you don't actually need to know every number in your head. You need
Also,
stories.
conversation will flow, so you'll have to stay with the
Correct.
conversation. You can't keep dragging it back to
That
what you
is the
think
thing.
is a...
And completely that, right? I think most people
This was a
are so-
masterclass.
Yeah, exactly. Most people are so stuck in what your next question should be that you're not even listening to your guest and saying, let's take something off that.
I feel that's the TV hangover.
Yes.
Where they give you the 10 prepared questions and you have only so
Scripted.
much time to ask and then
Yeah.
you sort of stay in that.
And
Yeah.
today, I think more and more today, people want you to be relatable.
True.
No one wants a perfect presenter. No one wants a perfect
They
commentator.
want the moment. You have to stay in the moment because they can see what's happening.
And they also want to say, you know what, actually, I agree with. I also could screw up like him on air, or I also could say this, And they want the little bit of the human side of somebody, right? Whether it's your top-notch cricketer, whether it's your top-notch tennis player or presenter, they want to see a normal human being.
Speaking of which, as we wind up, does Sanya abuse? Has she ever used the F word and all, you this thing, you that thing? Does she ever abuse you? Off cam, obviously.
No, Sanya's a wonderful human being. who
not a
never
bad
says
word.
any of this. Nothing, never.
Apparently, Baman Irani has come, who thinks he's a very big star, and so wants to come into the studio. But we will make him wait.
You're just kicking
He's a
married to Parsi out for a Parsi to come in. Just be honest.
He's a huge sports fan.
Yeah, but he's also a full
Cricket-
Parsi, therefore you're kicking me out for a full Parsi.
Don't worry
that's
about
all.
all that. Yeah. We'll realize that we're discussing cricket, football. He loves all that. So
I love it.
You're safe
I love
there.
it.
You probably have a lot more fan following than you know also, because people like me who watch, we're dedicated watchers. That's all we watch.
Yeah, it's very sweet, actually. I get a lot of people at like airports or something just
Yeah.
coming and talking. They're true fans, right?
True fans who love
Because they are-
sport.
when you look at someone who you know is a true sports fan who's just speaking from the heart about sport, you get it.
No, exactly, absolutely. And also, I like the tennis thing especially. I like this roundtable that you all have done when, waiting for the game to start and
Yeah.
all that. It's
No, thanks.
me and the mother. Yes, I spend a lot of time with my mother. It's true. We watch sport together. My wife doesn't really care for it. So what do I do? My son's
Yeah,
far
fair,
away.
fair. I like it, yeah.
Win some, lose some.
Me and my dog watch together. So
There
it's
you
okay.
go.
We're good.
All right. Me, my dog, and my mom.
Yeah,
Okay.
well done.
All right. Liverpool 3.
You win.
Man
You
City.
win. Take it.
Man City nothing.
Yeah, you've taken it.
All right.
I bow down.
There's one last quick one. Yeah, bolo.
Yeah.
Shami being recovering from injury, I think. Do you think that Harshdeep Singh and one more, the Harshit Rana,
Harshit Rana.
are those two fast pacers?
Okay, I'll ask the question. His worry here is that we're playing only 2 seamers.
Yep.
Does Shami get in because his form has not been that great coming back from injury? Arshdeep has had a fantastic couple of years. So how can he be left out as he was for
He's
no
also had a
reason?
good county stint,
And Harshit is actually third in that pedestal. So how would you call the
Mohammad
seamers?
Shami is still, just on pure seam position of
And
that guy
experience.
is unbelievable, right? So I think Shami, if he's even 80% fit, just for what he can do with the new
So
ball.
we're playing 1 seamer, it's him because there's Hardik also.
Yeah.
And if you're playing 2 proper seamers plus Hardik.
Look, I think Arshdeep gives you a really good left arm option. Also, death overs, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Arshdeep, for me, Arshdeep Shami, that combo will be very, very vital if you don't play your spin quartet or spin trio as such.
No, but 3 plus 2 plus 1 is what it's going to be mostly.
And they,
So you're gonna
again,
get
the spinner's bat.
And Arshdeep Shami. Forget who the 3 spinners
Yeah.
are. 3 spinners, 2 seamers, plus Hardik is
Hardik.
6 bowlers is enough. You don't need 7 and 8. It's
Sorted.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Suhail, thank you so much. But Baman is screaming outside.
you.
He wants to get some publicity here. The way they go on, these guys, it's ridiculous. Any kids?
No, dog. Stop
No,
there.
okay. No kids in the future also?
No,
The
you
name
should
is-
ask my wife this question.
Name is Screwwala.
Ask my wife this
No, for
question.
paradox.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me this.
How can I ask a personal question like this, bro?
You just asked it
I
on a
think did I
podcast.
come? I may have been there at your wedding, huh? I'm trying to remember.
I think you were actually.
Yeah, I think we attended. We had to. Ronnie is a very important man.
I didn't have a say on the reception.
You
I
had
only
to.
say-
You and me
I
both
also
had to.
I also had to. Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
With you either.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Okay,
It was a lot of fun.
cheers. My pleasure, rather.
You know, has the same
Similar.
Herschel Gibbs as well.
Herschel,
He had to
great.
choose
Great
which one
rugby.
he
You
wanted.
You say who's
to.
the better fielder on record, AB de Villiers or Jonty Rhodes?
That's his baby, though.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the wrong
Yeah.
answer. No, really, you guys have become so
Listen,
Indian now. Everything is
no.
diplomatic. Just
No. Honest truth.
Yeah.
If John T
Yeah.
was not the guy that actually showcased that, we never had John T. We would have never had AB de
He's the pioneer for the world.
Absolutely.
And the
because
grandfather of
everybody-
fielding, for
Yeah,
sure.
because everybody had their heroes. In anything that we do, it could be a basketball player or baseball. It doesn't matter. But the kid grew up
first guy.
knowingly that there's someone that I want to compete and
But
be
let me
like.
tell you, my dad used to talk to me about a guy called Colin Bland.
I know
from
Colin
South
Bland,
Africa,
yeah,
who
yeah.
apparently the old timers say was unbelievably like. And everybody used to say John T is the next avatar of Colin Bland, but I don't know. So
No,
Even get that, AB de Villiers, he was the next John T. Rhodes.
well done.
You know what I mean?
He could be a lawyer. He's got that mind.
Cyrus says every time, Cyrus says, जब ये कहे तुम सुनो, please. तमीज से बात करना है ना, important people यार.